Alright, this is the end of 4. I got absolutely slaughtered this game. I had my ass handed to me. By the bottom of 4, it is 15-5 score. Basically, I threw the towel in. I'm not going to play this game out for another 15 minutes just to see the rest of my units get squashed. I can live with the fact that I've lost the game. And the Chinese forces will triumph over this land. We didn't really come up with a backstory. Last time we had a backstory. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was
anyway, so, here. Alex, if you want to grab the camera for a sec, real quick.
Sure.
Tactical errors in my strategy. Like I was telling the guys earlier, I feel that I set myself up to lose this game from step 1. Putting my powerhouse unit here and everything else here, I should have protected these guys better. I was hoping I could run them up, get them into combat quick, which I did, but they didn't last that round of combat that I needed them to. I needed them to last that 1 round so they could get the regeneration roll off, and then they keep hammering away. So you knocking them out put a serious dent in my plan.
Rolling has something to do with that. The luck of the dice, you keep in mind, right? Yeah.
These freaking Chinese archers have 8 shot stock. What is this? Romans have 7, and that's the best they can do. Disgusting. Let's just put it that way. But that's what the Chinese do. They shoot arrows and they run in silk shirts. This was a great move by you. How you just contested this spot and sat on that. Not much I could do there. I was too busy dealing with other things. So, just a haphazard play from me. I'm not happy with that at all. After turn 2, I found myself stop thinking about what I'm going to do, and I just turned into reactive mode. Because things were happening out of my control, and I was just getting fucked left, right, and center. Oh, I mean, I was losing left, right, and center. Yeah, sorry guys, there's going to be a little bit of language in this.
Pardon my French.
Yeah, okay, so Alex, how did you feel?
I feel pretty good, actually. My original plan was to go up both sides. The reason why I did that is because I had 2 archer units. When you play the Chinese, you get to get an extra army, and we were discussing earlier that it might actually be unfair. Having 2 archer units is awesome, and I know, Ryan, you had those 2 archer units last game we played, and you really gave me a pain in the ass.
It usually turns the tide.
Oh, yeah,
especially in such a unit-limited type setup where we have...
Yep. So my plan was to actually set 1 archer here, 1 archer on this side, and sort of just try to squeeze you out. And that way, because it's open, I could also launch arrows not only on this side, but across. I didn't know what you were going to do, and actually you almost... I'd say 80% to 90%, you did exactly what I wanted you to do, is only send up a few units here. Or sorry, no, you only had like 2. Yeah, and so it was easy for me to overwhelm you.
Yeah.
At the same time, I did get lucky though, because you almost took these guys out. If I hadn't to push them and stuff, I was hoping to have at least 1 more army here and to push up and go forward. And also curbing your ability to gain victory points through this was also just another key benefit that I had. Again, rolling did have a lot to do with it. There were at least 3 rounds where I did get a lot of good rolls, and you didn't get... You got decent ones.
Oh,
but
you can't blame it on rolls. You played it well.
Yeah, no, so actually, that sort of was my goal. I was hoping that something similar, very similar to this would happen, and it did. And fortunately, I was able to get you out of there, especially on the 1 flank there. So.
Okay, and now on to Jeff. This is actually Jeff's first exposure or experience to the game. We sat down with him a little bit in between the turns and in between the clips to explain to him what's happening. He's a big strategy-type game player. He plays a lot of real-time strategy. He plays a lot of Risk, just to kind of give you an opening. He knows what he's talking about, and he can very quickly diagnose what's going on. Jeff, from a third-person perspective, what happened? And why did I have my ass handed to me so badly?
I think you were both in experimental tactics mode. Yeah. Frankly, Alex had the advantage of... I mean, you made the comment that you were being reactive, but in many regards, I think you gave Alex the opportunity to react in that you would make a move, and then he would have a chance to just calmly respond to that. And it was left to you to initiate everything, but you didn't have your resources in play, like you said, where you wanted them to be. Frankly, the only thing that Alex did that I questioned through the entire period was his formation here made no sense to me. That was just bizarre. That was the only thing. You had these guys in full attack mode, and you never pressed with it. So the fact that they sat there and never bothered to defend was a little bizarre, but hey, it paid off. He's still alive.
Yeah,
He's still
one
here.
guy there.
On Ryan, on your side, the other thing I would say is that I think you guys have learned the lesson of the value of pushing, but it's also easy to take that too far because some of your resources here never made it into play because you were tying up your command points.
Yeah.
So you've got this unit, and it's you tie 4 command points on your was it your hoplites there?
Yeah, to get him into those archers to stop them from firing.
Which I understand the value of.
Expensive.
Very expensive, and then it left you really unless.
Well, that screwed me with my commander
because I
was hoping I could get my commander, defeat this one guy, and then at least stop the archers from shooting.
But really, what this ties into is what you were talking about. It's the danger of splitting your resources, especially against archers.
Yeah,
because now you need to spend those push points to lock in both those archers so they don't decimate your units.
Right.
So. It's an interesting learning experience. This piece in the middle is especially interesting, just the ability to tie it up and...
It's important to note that we've never actually...
I know, and you made the point about the rules of the game suggest you should not do this.
I can understand why they did that.
Yeah. But it made it a very fast-paced and very intense battle. So from my perspective, for that to be my first Arcane Legions game that I'm really observing, I think it was a great start.
Not bad. Alright guys, so there you have it. Here's another battle report. If you're around this weekend, hopefully I'd like to squeeze a quick one in with you. That'd be good. Same thing, we'll roll off. I usually find that the Romans are a little bit more forgiving, mainly because they have very good defenses and more or less a well-rounded army. Whereas, there's no having to rush in or there's no having to play it far back. They're just good all around.
I find you actually don't have to think as much too, because remember, when you are playing as the Chinese and you have that extra army, there's just more to think about, more happening. There's just more potential for your guys to get shot by archers and attacked, and so it is tricky. But I think actually it is interesting. We have never done this sort of idea. Usually our victory train or the control train has never been that close, has never been in the middle with one another, thus forcing us to the middle. I thought that was actually pretty cool. I really wasn't looking forward to it. Like I was actually very, very terrified. I was like, this is going to end up just like as like a complete bloodbath in the middle of the
in the table.
Exactly, yeah. So, but no, I'm pleasantly surprised.
Okay, well, my take on this, there's a very good reason why the people in the rule set made them so you can't capture both at the same time. That being said, I have a feeling that a lot of that bias comes from my poor allocation of resources and just inability to effectively combat this army. So I'd like to try this setup again. Maybe not right away. Maybe give it a few weeks, recharge the batteries and give it a different try. Give it another shot.
Yep.
So I would say pending study.
Yep. It's a work in progress.
Yeah. Other than that, what else was I going to talk about real quick? Still waiting on the models. Yeah. Still waiting on the models.
Number 4.
Oh yes, about the models. Another kind of interesting thing about the Romans. So the Romans, in the starter box, each of you have 5 total units. 4 main large trays and then your commander. That's just the way that the player starter box came. If you tally up the points, the in-box Roman force is about 2,600 points. The Egyptians are 1,250. And the Chinese are like 1,420, something like that. So, the Romans are good and all around, but really, if you're playing a 2,000-point game, you're going to get 6 units of Romans. And then, if you're playing equal points against the Egyptians, you're going to have 9 units. And if I'm playing Egyptians, all of them are going to have regeneration. Could you imagine? 6 units of regeneration, maybe 3 across 2 deep, with the commander right behind them, and just rolling off the special 6+ power. And just think, especially if they're in combat, you're going to get a -2 to shoot back across from them. And God forbid if you're on an angle, you may cross 3. So, just food for thought. God, we need those models. Alright, that's all I have to say. Oh yes, the official handshake. Alex, a job well done. A well-earned victory.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Hope to see you next time.
That's it. Stay tuned for more. Cheers.